I'm Parni Jaggi, and this video is going to be about a very basic introduction of what meter is in literature, or specifically in English poetry we use meter more than in any other genre of literature. Now in writing, when we use meter, it is actually the basic rhythmic structure of a verse or lines in a verse. So many traditional verse forms prescribe a different kind of a verse meter or a certain set of rules for meter. So meter is a very broad area of study, and so broad that the study and the actual use of the forms of meter in the forms of poetry is actually, the study is called as prosody. So it is a complete subject on which we cannot talk in one or two videos, but here, for the sake of the convenience of the students, I will be just introducing meter as a tool of prosody and linguistics. Now, meter is a literary device that works as a structural element in poetry. The structure of poetry is very much dependent on this device called meter. It is the basic rhythmic structure of a line within a poem or the complete poetic work. And meter functions as a means of imposing a specific number of syllables and emphasizes when it comes to a line of poetry that adds to its musicality. Now we know poetry as a form of writing is different from other genres of writing, mainly because of its rhythm, rhyme and musicality. So meter is a big factor. It is an important tool which functions because of its placement of syllables. Syllables are kind of sounds which are used in writing. So it consists of the number of syllables and the pattern of emphasis on these syllables. Now emphasis means the syllables, the sounds can be stressed or they can be unstressed. That is the emphasis. In addition, meter governs individual units within a line of poetry called feet. Now feet, a foot of a poetic work features a specific number of syllables and pattern of emphasis. So the smallest unit is syllable. So syllable when placed in a particular form makes a feet or a foot, and then these feet decide what meter is employed in this line or in this poem. For example, in many Western classical poetic traditions, this meter is actually a sequence of feet. Feet means a collection of or a couple of syllables. So it is how you place these syllables and how you place these feet decide what meter is being used in this poem. Now, to give an example in the very beginning, the commonly used meter, poetic meter is, you people must have heard of this, is iambic pentameter. Now, iamb is actually a metrical foot. Foot means it has two syllables. So iamb means it is a foot which consists of one short or unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. So if there is a word which has two syllables, the first syllable will be unstressed and the second will be stressed. I will illustrate what is a stressed syllable and what is an unstressed syllable. Now the structure of iambic pentameter features 5 iambs because we know pentameter, pent means 5. So this meter is using 5 iambs. So 5 iambs means 5 feet. 5 feet means 10 syllable because each feet has 2 syllables. So in iambic, we have the first syllable unstressed and the second syllable stressed. So 5 iambs making pentameter. So 10 total syllables in one line. This is called a poem with iambic pentameter. Then coming to an example of Shakespeare again, he is well known for his use of iambic pentameter, especially in his sonnets. Now, sonnet 104, He says to me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed. Now, what is happening here is, if you do not go for the meaning or the theme, the thematic analysis of the poem, and just look at the structure of the poem or the line, you will notice that each line has 5 iambs. Iambs means 5 feet. 5 feet means 2 syllables in each feet. That means 10 syllables in each line. And these syllables follow the pattern of unstressed and then stressed syllables. How? For example, to me, fair friend, you never can be old. Now, to me in this, to is unstressed. Me is stressed. Fair is unstressed. Friend is stressed. You never. You is unstressed. So this way it goes on to make it an iambic pentameter. One unstressed syllable, then a stressed syllable, again unstressed, then a stress, and you have 10 syllables placed in this sequence. And accordingly, words and diction and meanings are used and placed. So it needs a lot of craft and a lot of deftness in poetry. When a poet writes poetry, it is not just haphazard or random, but it is very well crafted, very well designed and disciplined. Now, meter is not of one kind, but this was just an illustration of the most commonly used meter, iambic pentameter. In English poetry, metrical feet generally has 2, sometimes 3 syllables. Now they are categorized by a combination of stressed and unstressed syllables. For example, in iambic pentameter, I just displayed that there is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. Again an unstressed, again a stressed. So this is the pattern which goes on in iambic pentameter. But the most common examples of metrical feet include, apart from iamb, there is trochee. Now in trochee, we have the stressed syllable followed by unstressed syllable. On the contrary, in iamb, we have the unstressed syllable followed by the stressed syllable. So if you can minutely observe the difference between how this pattern of syllables is going on, you will see that in trochee, for example, you have the word custom. Now custom, when it is spoken, it is the first syllable, cus, which is stressed, and the second syllable, tum, is shortened, is not so long, and so it is unstressed. So what is a trochee meter or metrical feet? It is a stressed syllable followed by an unstressed syllable, custom. So cus is stressed. Coming to the second, iambic, as we have seen, iamb is unstressed syllable followed by the stressed syllable. Just like describe. Now this is not stressed, it is unstressed because it is a very short sound and it does not seek importance from the speaker. On the contrary, cribe, describe is the second syllable, is the stressed syllable. So this is iamb. The third is spondy. There is equal stress on both syllables as in the word cupcake. Then there is the dactyl. Stressed syllable is followed by 2 unstressed syllables as in bicycle. Now why dactyl? Bi is stressed syllable, sick is unstressed, kul is also unstressed. So bicycle, bicycle. So stressed syllable followed by 2 unstressed syllables is dactyl meter. Then we have anapest. 2 unstressed syllables followed by a stressed syllable as in understand. Now stand is a syllable which is seeking our attention and is a long sound. Under. these two syllables are short and unstressed, so this makes an anapest meter or metrical feet. Now when we use these metrical feet in a poetic line, the placement of words is such that they follow the rules of these 5 kinds of meters. Now it is a complex topic, and it is mandatory for a person who wants to study each meter in detail. He has to go into the details of the placement of syllables and feet, and how these stressed and unstressed syllables can actually create an effect in poetry. Then we have the length of these meters. Now, for example, poetry is musical. The repetition of metrical feet in a line of poetry creates poetic meter like beats in music. So the length of the poetic meters is like monometer. So if there is 1 foot, it is monometer. If there are 2 feet in a line, it is diameter. 3 feet, trimeter. 4 feet, tetrameter. 5 feet, pentameter. 6 feet, hexameter. 7 feet, heptameter. And 8 feet, octameter. So when we again go back to Shakespeare's illustration, here we had seen that he uses iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter means that he is using the meter iamb with 5 feet in one line. 5 feet in one line means he is using 10 syllables in one line with the stress in the pattern of iamb. So it makes iambic pentameter. So this was a very brief introduction and overview of how meter works in linguistics and poetics. So thank you for now. Stay tuned for the next videos.